honor to be here. I think everybody here is really, their aim is to really do greatness for this world. So I do art, as you by now understood. And what I try to do in my art, and I think the role of an artist is really to put your finger on the wound of society and press really, really hard where it hurts. But also, I think the artist, more than just creating awareness for situation and problems, it needs to provide hope for a better future. So I'd like to introduce you to another project that I've done. What you've seen now, the work was Cleansing, which I presented in Germany. It's projected on a castle in Karlsruhe. It's a 400-meter castle. And I've done this work where you can look at the castle as a metaphor either for one who is going through a personal cleansing process, but also the world, as we experience now in Venice and around the world, but also a reference, being Jewish and Israeli, to the cleansing of the Jewish race in World War II. And I've done this work in the time where Germany was the only country who accepted 1 million refugees. So where great evil happened, also goodness can happen years after. The next work I'm going to show you I call Laugh, so I'll show it. Printer, a 3D printer that can print in zero gravity. And I came up with the idea, how about making a shout out to space using sound sculpture? And then a friend of mine said, why won't you do a human laughter? And I said, wow, you're so right. We all laugh. We invite people to go online and they can record their laughter. And then actually the wisdom of the crowd will actually choose which of the laughter they want to send to space to represent humanity. It was very intellectually challenging to try to forget about fundamental issues we have as humans and how we fuck up the world and elevate to that we're amazing creatures and we're doing amazing things and look where we got. So it was like 4 years ago I got a phone call from NASA, as this video kind of explained, and they offered me to do the first piece of art in space. And last December I actually released an app and invited the world to laugh. Only humans laugh. And in the app, your laughter basically functioned as a paintbrush. And in 30 days, it was an act of art. Over 300,000 laugh stars were created from around the world, and 100,000 were submitted to the competition. And in mid-January, we knew who won. And here is the moment I'm informing the winner. She won 20 hours before we print in space. Out of over 100,000 submissions of laughs in the last 30 days, guess what? Who won? Anyway, she was very happy. Because I don't have much time and I want to get to the essence of my presentation, here is the moment of the sculpture in space, taken by the astronauts. So we printed it in mid-March 2018. And it's really a message to the future. It's encapsulated laughter. And if math is a universal language, future humanities, other intelligence can decipher how a young girl somewhere in the world laughed. However, while working on NASA and this project for over 3 years, it made me really think about Earth and really change my perspective on Mother Earth and figure out that there's a lot of problems down here. And particularly, I realized that I want to focus on plastic pollution. I was on the beach having some off time after the project, and I realized that there has to be something that I can do in order to help this crisis about plastic pollution. I was inspired by a video that the Greenpeace have done with Ludovico Einaudi, I don't know how to pronounce his name, a pianist, and it kind of made me think they've done it on the melting of the icebergs. And watching the videos of the oceans flooded by plastic, it made me focus on a new project, which I'm really happy to introduce today, which I call Plastivore. And plastivore is really like carnivore, but just on plastic. It's a creature that is fed on plastic. And really what we're trying to do is create a movement of providing a solution through art that will take plastic waste and enable us to repurpose it to meaningful outputs. I'm following a new ism in art, which was created by the artist Tanya Bungera, and it calls art utile, which translates to useful art, if you will. And I've collaborated with the Israeli Technion, which is like our MIT, and ISMAR, Institution of Marine Science in Italy. And we decided to create a machine that will take plastic waste and basically shred it and convert it into a kind of a 3D ink that this machine will be able to print building blocks in a matter of 30 minutes, a meter cubical building block. And we chose the Venice Biennale as sort of the place to introduce this machine. But doing art, I believe that art is the only way to basically create a new form of change, because art makes people feel, and it touches people's souls. And the Biennale is like the Olympic Games of the art world. ISMAR, they have a villa just at the junction. Whoever is coming to the Venice Biennale must pass this villa. It's from the 16th century, and the Palazzina Canonica. And they gave me the villa, and I'm going to transform this villa, and I'm using a ritual, a contemporary ritual. We all need to believe in our humanity's history. We invented gods, and we created rituals to sacrifice the best we have to those gods in order to secure a better future. Well, here I'm inviting the audience to bring plastic waste, put it on a rail. The rail will create this waterfall, this plastic fall, if you will, that will constantly, during the Biennale, will stream plastic into a massive shredder. And the shredder will shred it in front of your eyes into a filament that will feed a huge robot. And this robot, basically, as I said, will print those parametric building blocks. While people will stand in line, they are invited to scribble their messages, like a message in a bottle again. We created a natural language technology that you can either use your voice or text, and that will convert into a 3D printable data, and people will see how the messages are embedded in building blocks that are inserted into a temple. So it's like a ritual experience, and when you enter the temple, I designed the temple almost like as a whale, dedicating to the ocean. And it's a place where I want people to actually inhale and understand, that nature is very fragile and there's a lot to do and improve. To summarize, in this place, you will experience plastic in ways you haven't seen before. It will suffocate you, but also you understand that we cannot do without plastic. We have to learn how to use and reuse plastic. And I'm happy to announce today a partnership with SIPA. SIPA is the world's largest plastic bottling company in the world. Coming from Israel, you learn that you have to try to make peace with your enemies, not with your friends. And SIPA created a solution for the last 4 years that takes existing plastic bottles and recycle it to new bottles. And I've seen this machine in Venice 2 weeks ago, and it's pretty amazing how they are shredding and taking old plastic bottles and creating new plastic bottles. And they are becoming a major supporter of the project. So the timeline we have is now we are doing the R&D, we're doing the Venice Biennale, and after Venice Biennale, Plastivore will tour the world. We'll do the first project in Guatemala, and then we intend to move it around the world. But I'm here because we want to create it as an outcome venture. And I'm approaching you here today because we need help. We need help from really smart, creative people. We need capital. Those are my details. I'm very, very happy and honored to be here. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, GSG. Good morning. Bye.